So guys, we're just come down here to albatross fishing down in Tasmania. We're going to go out and have a look at how they actually farm oysters and how they get them, I guess, to the table where you sit down and you eat them. Stu Hansen, who owns Albatross Fishing, has brought us over. We're on his tractor at the moment, his little boat, and we're going out to get what they call fish, which are oysters, from where they're bred, and we'll come back and sort some out. Anyway, have a bit of a look and see what you think. So this is the tractor and the boat, all 60 horsepower, and we're in a place called Clay Lagoon. Water's very clear, and we're off the trailer. All the birds are sitting on the top of the little poles, and see the little poles sticking out of the water here. Those birds are sitting on some of the poles as well. We're at high tide at the moment. So what are you checking for at the moment, Stu?
Quality. See if there's any, how good they are.
So at the moment they're just grabbing the baskets of oysters. So this is one of the oysters that Stu's just pulled out of the water. It's as fresh as you're ever going to get. I'm not a big fan of seafood. I eat prawns, but I'll give the old oyster a go. Sorry. Have a go at that. Ugh. Yeah, no thanks. Salty. Yeah, I think they'd be much better if they were cooked with bacon and soy sauce, or Worcestershire sauce even.
Oyster Patrick.
Yes, I think that'd be the way to have them. Not fresh straight out of the water, you need to wash them. Anyway, enjoy the day. So now we've farmed all the oysters that we need for the day. Quite a few baskets here, and there's some different varieties. There's the buffet ones, which are a little bit bigger. There's the bistro ones, and then there's a new breed, or a different breed, that are really, really hard to open. Triploids. Plenty of oysters making their way to Brizzy and onto the tables in Brisbane. Old Roz hasn't moved too much. Doesn't like this cold weather. So we'll head back now, get back onto the tractor, and we'll head back to the shed and we'll unload it all and we'll get them all sorted. Oysters have been farmed out of the water. They get put into the boxes, those little crates, into the sizes that they are, and then they'll be taken to the shed and either put through bags by hand, or they'll go through the machine where it sorts them out and puts them in the right bags.
So they go up here, and this here is this, like this stainless steel tube inside, just a single tube which spins, so it sort of puts them into a single line. And this here is like a corkscrew. It gets bigger at the end, so it spaces them out. And they go under here. This doesn't clean them, it's just to stabilise them. And they go under here, under the camera, which is up there, which basically tells the machine sort of like where it needs to be, so measures the size. and puts them into these. So it'll go into here first, count into here first, it'll fill up this one. When it's full, the light will come on and it'll automatically swap to this one.
Yep.
And so then you sort of change your bags and so forth and you reset the light.
Once they've been harvested, in the boxes here, they go into the little conveyor belt. They then come through this thing. Here they come. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed having a look at how the oysters go from the ocean basically to your plate. Roz is going to snavel a couple of oysters and take home with us, and I think she's going to turn them into our oyster Kilpatrick.
Yes, I will.
Bit of bacon, bit of Worcestershire sauce, and cook them up. Anyway, these oysters are off to Brizzy, and they go all around Australia. If you get a chance, try their oysters. They've won a couple of awards, and not long ago they won an award down here in Tasmania for the best oysters out of 150 points. I think they were saying they got 136 or 142 points. So yeah, give their oysters a try.
But albatross fishing oysters.
From Tassie.
From Tassie. Albino rainbow trout in this pond. Oh, I can see them on the bottom. I don't know whether you guys can see them. Hanging out under the water. So that was just a little tour of Salmon Ponds. It's $8 entry for an adult, and it's $2 to buy some fish food, and then you can just feed the salmon around the ponds. It's a beautiful little area. There's a museum here, there's a little hatchery you can have a look at, and there's fish everywhere. So if you're passing by, stop in.
Hey, this morning we're at the Port Arthur Historical Site. This is also where Martin Bryant had the massacre, which changed the Australian gun laws forever. Obviously it's where the convicts were back in the day, so we'll take you on in and we'll have a look around, we'll give you the prices and show you what's in there. Let's go.
So you grab a card on the way in, guys. I got the 3 parts. Go and find the 3 parts.
So the card tells you about a particular convict. So the convict that I got was George Hunt, and he stole a handkerchief and he was deported for 14 years. So for stealing a handkerchief, he got 14 years. He was a bit of a lunatic, so he was put on Port Arthur. And while he was here, he escaped numerous times. He got caught at the Eagle Hawk Neck, and he copped 100 lashings for his troubles.
So I've got the 3 parts. Okay, Walter Paisley, native of Newport, Wales.
14 years old.
Convicted in February 1832 for burglary. His brother and 4 of his friends lowered him through a window. He was the only one caught. The others ran away. He got 7 years, transportation, juvenile sent to Point Pure. While at Point Pure, some of Walter's friends were sent to the cells. He decided to try to cheer them up and sat outside the door telling rude stories. He was caught and locked up for a week, then sent to work with the carpenters. There you go, 14-year-old.
14-year-old.
What happened here? On Sunday the 28th of April 1996, the Port Arthur Historic Site was the site of a devastating violent crime. In this area and at other locations nearby, a single gunman killed 35 people and injured dozens more. Staff from the historic site were among the victims. 20 people died inside this building. Port Arthur Memorial Garden.
So this is a cafe where, as Ros just said, I think 28 people died here. They're inside the cafe, sitting around here and that, and they've taken the roof off, all the wall, all the windows and that out of it. Apparently it was quite a mess, and they didn't want to keep it as a cafe, so it's now more a memorial sort of a thing. And there's a little plaque on the ground here. You can read.
Death has taken its toll. Some pain knows no release, but the knowledge of brave compassion shines like a pool of peace. Cherish compassion for the sake of those who gave aid. Cherish peace for the sake of those in pain. Loving memory. Sunday the 28th of April 1996, Port Arthur. Rest in peace. Just couldn't imagine anything worse than sitting here on a beautiful sunny day, having a coffee with the family, and an unknown gunman comes in and just lets loose. It's pretty sad, pretty moving.
Yeah, the cruise is included in your ticket. So it's about a 20-minute cruise. It goes out around the little island straight to our front here behind the boat, to the left of the boat, and it's called Isle of the Dead. What it was saying about it was that Isle of the Dead, 1833. The Isle of the Dead was Port Arthur Cemetery, and around 1,100 convicts, military officers and free men and women were buried here. Over on the far point, above the little boat, is Point Pure Boys Prison. In 1834, Point Pure was the first prison in the British Empire to be built for juveniles. It was designed to keep boys aged between 9 and 17 separate from the adult prisoners to protect them from criminal influence. The boys here were taught a trade or work skill and to read and write. So they were better off being put over there than staying back where they come from. At least they got a trade out of it, and once they're released from prison, well, they could make a life for themselves. Around to the left where Roz is going now is what used to be the dockyard. The dockyard was once the busiest part of Port Arthur settlement. During its operation, 16 large ships and 150 small boats were built and many more were repaired. At its peak, more than 70 men worked at the dockyard. I asked the guy at the counter a little bit about Port Arthur. He was only 5 years old when it happened. He gave me a brochure, and on the brochure it actually says, please understand that for many people, including staff members at Port Arthur, answering questions about what happened on the 28th of April 96 can be very disturbing. We prefer not to use the name of the gunman. We want to explain to visitors what happened, but we also want to protect our people from distress. This account is intended to outline the fact with clarity and simplicity. So he was telling me that there is people that are still here working that were here on the day of the shooting. So it obviously affected some of those people. He knew people that were killed here. Basically, one Sunday in autumn, on the morning Sunday the 28th of April 1996, a young Hobart man armed himself with 3 high-powered automatic firearms and a large quantity of ammunition, then drove to Port Arthur. Just north of the township, he entered the home of a local couple he knew. Inside, he shot and killed them both. He drove to the historic site and ate a meal on the deck of the Broad Arrow Cafe. He re-entered the cafe, which was crowded with lunchtime customers, took a rifle from his bag and began shooting. In the first 90 seconds, 20 people died and 12 were injured. The man then moved into the adjacent car park where he shot and killed 4 more people and wounded a number of others. After shooting indiscriminately at people in the grounds of the historic site, he got into his car and drove up the former main entrance road to the original toll booth. In this area, 7 more people were killed in 2 separate incidences, during which he stole a victim's car and abandoned his own. The man then drove north outside the general store. He killed 1 person and took another hostage. He drove back to the house where the first killings had taken place, firing random shots at vehicles along the route and injuring a number of people. At the house, the man set fire to the stolen car, then took his hostage inside. Through the afternoon and nights were shots fired at police officers on the scene. At some point during this time, the gunman killed the hostage. In the morning, he set fire to the house and was captured by police as he fled from the burning building. The man was tried and convicted for 35 counts of murder. On each account, he was sentenced to imprisonment for life with no eligibility for parole. The crime was reported around the world and caused widespread shock, outrage and grief, and more than 20 years on, many still suffer a result of this tragedy. The devastating events on that day at Port Arthur encouraged Australians to question our laws on the private ownership of automatic and semi-automatic firearms. A vigorous national debate was marked by strongly held views on both sides. As a result of this, state and federal governments passed new gun control laws and are among the strictest in the world. On the historic site, it was agreed that a memorial garden incorporating the shell of the Broad Arrow Cafe would be established as a place of quiet beauty and calm contemplation. It was formally dedicated on the 4th anniversary of the massacre, 28th of April 2000, by the Governor-General. Today, the memorial garden offers a peaceful place open to the elements, sun, wind, rain and sky, where many reflect and remember. Over the years, commemorative services have been held at a historic site which have seen hundreds of people in attendance to pay their respects and to remember an event that changed our nation forever. Annually, the anniversary is remembered by our staff and by many for whom the events are not a matter of the past. So there you go, a little bit of a fact about Port Arthur and Australian gun laws. For you guys over in America, maybe you could take a leaf out of our book. Right, I know it's a very big debate over there, but realistically, why do you need an automatic weapon? Anyway guys, enjoy the rest of the tour.
And this clearing we're coming alongside on your left-hand side is the dockyard where they produced around 200 vessels altogether. The majority of these were longboats or whale boats. Whaling was a major industry in this early colony of Van Diemen's Land, so you can imagine craft like that being in big demand. And ships would travel from all over the world to hunt in these very fertile waters.
this is the housing for the convicts. The worst convicts were on the bottom floors and the better convicts were on the top floors with bunks. Up in the hill there's where the guards slept. There would have been the cells, each cell. So this is the guard tower and the guards' quarters. Obviously there's a prison down there. This is where the guards stayed. Wouldn't be too many prisons though with a view like that, would there? So the commandant's house. Waters Tower Cottage. Each double cottage, each to contain 2 families, have been ordered to be built in front of the old military barracks. The first of these cottages has been commenced and is now progressing with as much dispatch as possible. It will be in good brick building and afford suitable accommodation for 2 married officers. So these are the guard towers. Okay, so we're just up behind there, in that building. One of the top's demolished. There's the commandant's house. Courtyard for these to exercise for an hour a day. This is a court. Of being a great lover.
Guilty. Life imprisonment. For being a man.
So this is one of the punishment cells. Pretty dark in here. No one can hear you. They have a church of St. David. Let's come on in. A bit like me, old. I'll show you another line, see? Welcome to St. David's Church. It's the old church. the oldest chimes of bells in Australia and are believed to be the first cast in this country. Following the closure of Port Arthur Penal Settlement in 1877, the church bells were stored in the New Norfolk Asylum in 1897. 7 of the bells were handed over to the New Norfolk Municipal Council, who hung them in St Matthew's Church Tower. The 8th bell disappeared.
So guys, we hope you enjoyed the our little tour of the Port Arthur historical site. Adult prices were $47 and children were $22. So if you're in the area, come on down. That price is also a 2-day pass, so you can come back the next day if you haven't finished looking around. But we enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. It was $115, I think, for the family. But yeah, no, we spent, well, it's now 12:44. We got here at 9 o'clock at opening time. The boat ride was pretty good and very informative. So we spent 3 hours 45. You could probably spend 6 hours here.
Yeah, easy. Easy.
Without a problem.
And there's lots of cafes around the place, so you can buy your lunch, drinks.
We cut a few of the things off because obviously you look at one old building, you've seen them all sort of thing, but you'd spend 6-7 hours here easily, walking the area, beautiful grounds, you bring your lunch. There's little cafes and stuff down there to sell pies and stuff like that, but nice little grass areas which you would have seen, and yeah, come on down. Hey guys, it's that time again. Joke time with Dave. Hey Roz.
Hello.
What did Spartacus say when the lion ate his wife?
What?
Nothing. He was gladiator. Gladiator? Catch ya.